The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, K-Man. Welcome to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. Welcome to the Buzz and Post Easter break traffic. Yes, that's right. So I have seen yesterday there was so much moaning and groaning now that the bumper-to-bumper traffic is back in the mornings and in the afternoons. Now, we all know that traffic is already a bit of a pain, and yes, they're doing the best that they can to help alleviate it, but it's going to be a minute before we feel any of that traffic alleviation happening. However, try to enjoy this little level of pain that you're having right now. And I know you might be like, what? What do you mean? How am I supposed to enjoy being stuck in traffic? Because it's going to get a little bit of worse. And I'll tell you why. So, I don't like to focus on rumors too much. But where there is smoke, there is fire. There is talk about gas prices rising as early as this weekend at the pumps. So that's what I'm saying about enjoy this little level of pain, because it's going to cost you even more to be sitting in that bumper-to-bumper traffic soon come. That has allegedly sparked the increase of bus fares across Grand Cayman. Now, I did see a post on social media alleging that bus fares are increasing. However, I have not seen any official information on this, and nothing on the Public Transport Unit's website, which, to be fair, I think the last thing I did see on there was updated 2019. So let's have a look at that. But anyways, it is important to state that this is an alleged hike in the bus fares, because it's just from a picture that has been circulating on social media. So I don't know it is for sure, and I'm saying this because in September of 2022, there was a doctored image floating around on social media that showed new bus fares for Cayman, and it caused a stir, and it was never true. So until the Public Transport Board or unit can confirm, or perhaps somebody else in government issues a statement on it, I won't be repeating those numbers of the alleged bus fare hikes. However, I think we can pretty much agree that we will be seeing an increase in gas prices. Some may say that's also a rumor, but it's been happening around the world. And we know that the domino effect, Cayman, is somewhat along the end of that line of dominoes where we get hit with stuff. It has been already happening. To think that it won't happen to us is just absurd. CUC, for example, is a company here in Cayman that has already been proactive and warned consumers that the fuel costs will be very likely increasing in the next couple of months, and that is due to the issue that is going on in the Middle East. So that is something to keep in mind. If you have seen the bus fare image on social media, if you have seen that circulating, there is no statement confirming that that is true. So just keep that in mind. It might be true. We don't know. We're going to find out. But we can expect our gas prices to go up just a little bit now. So I'm going to give a little bit of context. We did know that this was coming because the grown boy that leads the U.S. threatened to completely obliterate Iran and wipe them off the earth just last Tuesday. Iran said bet and closed off the Strait of Hormuz, that corridor, which is a primary oil transit route for about 20 to 25% of the world's daily oil supply and crucial for global energy security. So it's been on and off with the Strait of Hormuz being accessible, and things have been hitting the fan. For not just for this past week, but a little longer than that as well. So why should we care? Why should we care? Well, aside from humanity, decency, and compassion that an entire country was threatened to be obliterated to pieces, we should care what's going on with Iran, because it will and is affecting gas prices globally. So not just gas, there's so much more. But for Cayman right now, I'm just focusing on the gas prices. You see what is going on in the world. Please don't act surprised when that trickle effect hits Cayman. So we have to prepare for it. We are hearing that gas prices could be going up this weekend. And allegedly, there's the bus driver fares, which are apparently increasing. However, until we get a statement on that or hear from the public transport unit, I can't say that that's for sure. Now, some people may be asking, aren't fuel prices regulated in Cayman? And they are, but not in the way that some of us might be thinking. So to just give some context here, fuel in Cayman is regulated by Utility Regulation and Competition Office, URCO, which was also known as OFREG. But here's the thing. They do not fix the price of fuel. Instead, they use what's called a cost plus system. So it means that fuel companies import gas at global market prices. Then they're allowed to add a set regulated markup, and that becomes the price you pay at the pump. Now, I was speaking to somebody who does export gas from the U.S. to other countries, and they said that it is a constant battle every week when they've made a deal with a country and then the markets fluctuate so crazy because of what is going on with the leadership in America and how it is affecting things just globally. So the markets are being so affected that the change in the gas prices that he's negotiated has switched, and it would be an incredible loss if he still had to go through with the deal that he made. I didn't ask further what happened. You already made the deal. I didn't ask further. But it is a reality. I did talk to somebody who does actually export gas to other countries, not Cayman. So something to think about. So now when global oil prices go up, prices here will go up too. It is not a rumor for Cayman. However, fuel companies in Cayman are required to keep an inventory. So the gas that you're buying today, it was likely purchased days or even weeks ago at a different price, which means in theory, prices shouldn't jump overnight the second global prices rise. And they haven't. Here, they haven't. There should be a bit of a delay. Now, why do prices sometimes feel like they move immediately? Well, it could be because new shipments come in at higher prices, inventory can turn over quickly, and pricing may reflect a blended cost of old and new fuel. But it's supposed to be based on actual cost and not speculation. So this is how regulation comes in. The fuel companies are limited by maximum margins, so they can't just increase profits when prices go up. Their markup per gallon is capped. They only pass on increases when their cost increases. So we'll bring it back to what we're hearing now. If prices are expected to rise this weekend, the real question is, are these alleged increases based on actual higher fuel costs already in the system? Or will we be seeing anticipated increases being passed on early, which I don't think you can do. So under the system, prices should reflect what fuel was actually bought for, not what it might cost next week. I think this is where some frustration can come from because we don't have any visibility into what the fuel price was imported at, how much inventory is on island, or how much current prices are being calculated. So what the margins are, how they're calculating that. So let me ask you something. I do want you to give me a call. Do you trust how fuel prices are set in Cayman? Have you noticed prices moving faster than they should be? And should regulators or other corporations be more transparent with the public about what's coming? Again, I really appreciate CUC sending out that email saying, hey, this is likely going to happen. Not only are we entering the very, very hot summer months, but, you know, when you're going to use more AC, likely, and your bill will go up. But with the increase in fuel prices, you might also see an even higher anticipated amount. So I appreciate that because that gives you a little bit of warning of what's coming. So should everybody be transparent like that about what's coming? We do have a call, so happy to take the call. Good morning, and thank you for calling The Buzz.
Good morning. Good morning. This is MP Kenneth Bryan.
Oh, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Wonderful topic you're talking about today. Interesting and very timely. Just to inform the public, that question you're asked is actually being submitted by the official opposition because you're right. We need the data to be able to trust that gas stations are not just increasing the price as what they think it should be. Because you're right, we're supposed to have a certain supply. So you can have 3-month variances, and this war in the Middle East now has been going on for just close to 6 weeks. So technically speaking, we have to find out when the last batch of fuel reached the Cayman Islands and what current fuel supply the gas stations are using to disseminate whether or not they're acting in the appropriate way. So we have filed a question about the supply, when it came in, so we can have an estimated idea of the behavior of the market, because naturally we definitely think there's going to be a jump at the next batch that comes in, because the next batch will definitely be bought at a higher price. So finding out the date of that supply, which normally is enough for about 3 months, based on my history with dealing with the off-reg. So we're going to put some questions into that. The second thing that I would like to inform the public is that we're filing a motion today, myself and the Leader of Opposition, the Honorable Joseph Hugh, is to ask government to consider a fuel rebate, because obviously the summer months are coming and it's going to be hot, and with all the other inflationary things, cost of living, minimum wage, and all those things, even without the fuel jump, things have gone up in cost. But if you tie the fuel on top of that now, that's going to be even more inflationary in our viewpoint. And the only real way for government to give some direct relief is at the fuel pump and at the electricity provider, because that's a direct pass-on cost. So we're going to ask them, particularly in the hotter months, so it doesn't have such a significant impact, to do a fuel reduction on the duties that the government charges the electricity provider. We hope that can be accepted by government. So we'll see the Parliament comes up on the 29th of April. So keeping our fingers crossed. But I think you're doing the best thing for the public, which is letting us prepare. Start being a little bit more tight with your money, because all signs indicate that over the summer months, things are going to be more expensive, from everything that we've seen in the last 6 months, from government policy to international trade, local policy, that if you have not seen an increase in your own personal income over the last 6 months, tighten up, because things are going to be a little bit more expensive than the same time 6 months ago. So thank you so much, Kathy, for talking about this. It's something I was going to actually post to my constituents to say the best way to prepare for this, because government doesn't have a direct tax system by income tax. How do you help them? And the best way is to advise them, listen, cut back on some of those things, be more conscious with your electricity usage and your driving usage, so that you can handle the blow when it comes, if it comes, and how severe it comes. So thank you so much, Kathy, for that.
Wait, don't hang up yet. Thank you. You just said some great things, and I owe you a call to book you on the show, by the way. So publicly I'm saying I will do so ASAP.
No problem.
But can you just give a little bit of an explanation of what a fuel rebate will do, how that will work, if you have an idea?
Well, naturally, as you know, government charges a certain amount of money per gallon that goes directly to government revenue, which CUC passes on directly to the consumer per fuel charge. And if you are a homeowner or are renting, you can see in your own CUC bill where it says government duty charge. And on that, if you reduce that, then that price can be reduced, passed on to you, and you think about it per gallon. So if you recall, in the last administration, we did something similar, whereby persons who fell within a certain usage rate, we assumed that they were of lower income, and therefore we gave them a certain duty break, which was, I think, about 6% of what the normal amount was. But that's the range upon which the percentage increases over the summer months. So it's no brand new precedent that's been set. It's been done before. So we think the government should be willing to accept it, or something similar. But we just want the government to be conscious of the fact that this summer is going to be hot. So it's the only direct way whereby you can say, for household expenses, and utilities is definitely one of them, they can pull back on some of the costs. Now, Water Authority is one, but not everybody in Cayman has Water Authority. There's the water company, particularly for the West Bay districts and constituencies, so the government can't ensure that direct pass-on savings. So CUC is the number one way, and obviously at the pumps as well. If you do it at the pumps, transport is a key component of the economy and travel and work. So it can help with the bus system. It can help with drivers going to and from work, dropping the kids off. It's for the government to come up with strategic ways to help reduce that inflationary measures. And the truth is, I think the government needs to talk about how far the inflation has increased, because I don't think anybody can doubt that things have gotten more expensive than it was 12 months ago in the Cayman Islands, due to all the things I said, whether it's government policy, immigration cost, minimum wage, global factors, transport. One of the things I'm most worried about, the cost of goods may increase now, particularly from China, because the transport costs from China to the western side of the world is going to shoot up tremendously. I think that's going to be a delayed effect, quite similar to the fuel. So we may not start to feel those price hikes until maybe in the middle of summer. And God forbid if Donald Trump or the President of the United States increases any further tariffs due to the conflict in the Middle East. So I think we got to prepare, is what I'm saying. This summer, just cut back a little bit, just save, just so that if things get a little bit tight, you don't feel the pressure too much and you're not worried and stressed out that you're not going to make it, because most people in Cayman, sadly, are making it month to month.
Absolutely agree with you. You made some great points. Thank you so much for sharing what you did.
You, Kathy.
I know you probably got to get off the phone, but if you can quickly recap, you said the opposition is bringing a motion?
Yes. Okay. So thank you for that.
It was two things, I think.
That again. Yeah. So first off, we are having a listening tour Thursday at the Seafarers Town Hall in Prospect, and people are welcome to come to talk about anything. And obviously, some of the things that are topical right now is the cost of living, cost of fuel. So you can come out and express your thoughts, so we can tell the public what we're doing. But just in case you don't make it, two things you can depend on is us asking about the fuel supply availability, so we can have some idea of predictability of what the cost will be because of how we import fuel. So we're going to get the data. We're putting the question into OFREG, which is the Honorable Ralston Anglin, to give us an idea of fuel supplies and the time period they came in. And the second question is asking government to consider doing a rebate to a certain amount that will be passed on through our electricity provider, the CUC. So those two things will be heard on the 29th of April in Parliament sitting, whichever day that the motion falls on. So the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st, I think, are the 3 days that we're in Parliament. So most likely it will be heard by way of motion on the 30th. So that's what the public can expect from the opposition, trying to find ways to give alleviation of cost on your behalf. Hopefully the government agrees, by now, to be honest, I was expecting to hear something from the government themselves of a cost reduction measure. I really thought they would have done it by now, but we're going to apply the necessary pressure to make them vote on it. Let's see if they're willing to accept that and give the people a break, because it's going to get a little bit more expensive.
Well, I appreciate the opposition coming up with a solution for a reduction in the cost of living there with the fuel rebate suggestion that you've just spoken about. And thank you so much for giving us the updates and letting us know what the opposition is doing and about the listening tour as well that's happening this week.
You're most welcome. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, Kathy.
Thank you so much for calling. All right, and that was our MP, Mr. Kenneth Bryan. He had some great points right there. Thank you so much again for sharing with us, Mr. Bryan, and have a great day too. I didn't tell you to have a great day. We're going to go to a quick commercial break right now, and then when we come back, we can still talk about fuel. We can still talk about that. If I want to get any more callers coming in to express their thoughts, I'm happy to take them. If not, I have another little topic to discuss right after the break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
In 1904, Cayman-Brac Turtland captain and boat builder Daniel Jervis built the prototype Caymanian catboat named Terra, an obvious improvement on the previous canoe-style boats of the day. The Caymanian catboat was on an average 16 feet long and drew no more than 8 inches of water. Painted in their distinctive catboat blue color, it provided effective camouflage when seen from below, permitting the crew to discreetly approach turtles.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Saturday, April 18th, will be the gathering of the future. The gathering of budding scientists, budding botanists, budding engineers, budding medical specialists, marine biologists, systems architects, and much, much more. The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair will be at the Arc Commander Bay 8 a.m. to 12 noon. The gathering of the future. Students from over 15 schools across Cayman. Save the date, April 18th. The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair, sponsored by CUC, supported by the Cayman Motor Federation. Sign up today. RotaryScienceFair.ky. The future is sparking.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage advises that construction at Captain George Dixon Park is taking place. Access to the park will be restricted with limited entry along the western boundary. Well drilling until Wednesday will cause noise and temporary disturbances. The ministry thanks the public for your patience.
Hello, this is Roy Tatum, your Member of Parliament for Red Bay. I'm inviting you to round 2 of our listening tour on Thursday, April 16th at Seafarers Hall on Victory Avenue from 7 to 9 p.m. Come out and speak directly with me, as well as Joey Hugh, Kenneth Bryan, Roy McTaggart and Perlina McGaw-Lumsden about the issues affecting Red Bay and the everyday challenges of living in Cayman today. Your voice matters and we want to hear from you. So join us Thursday, April 16th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Seafarers Hall. See you there.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
RC Fusion is proudly brought to you by TCE Paint Shop, Farmers and Artisans Retail Market, and My Canda Cleaners. RC Fusion, weekdays 10 a.m. to 12 midday, right here on Radio Cayman 89.9.
RC Fusion.
Radio Cayman Energy.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, I guess we got the phone lines on fire a little bit this morning because I think we got another call right now as well. So let us welcome this caller to the Buzz. Good morning. Welcome to the Buzz.
Good morning. This is Arden McLean. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you doing? Nice to hear from you.
Nice. I heard you say something earlier, and I'm trying to get some clarification on it because I was totally unaware of that. And that is that the one oil companies have a cap on their fuel. Did you say that?
Like a price margin cap?
Yeah.
Yes, there is allegedly supposed to be something like that.
Oh.
Set here in Cayman.
Where do you know when that happened?
No, but I have some other notes that I would have to dig into and give to you, not right now on the spot, but I can do so.
Because as far as I know, that I have advocated for that for years, but it was never implemented. Now, what the government, after the one that I was a part of, did was to require them to show invoices, to show costs, but that has never been really finalized, and that is why OFREG is currently advertising or asking for input on how to deal with it. And this happened a few weeks ago in the papers, as a matter of fact. So I'm a little bit confused based on my knowledge as to when that happened. Maybe it has, so that's why I was calling to confirm it. But as I know, as I was aware, and my shelf life is on now, so someone else may have changed it. It wasn't like that. They didn't have a price cap on them. The other thing that we were trying to do was to stop them from getting into distribution as well, i.e. owning gas stations. So, that monopoly, duopoly needs to change and change soon with legislation. So I don't know, but certainly if you could do your research and make the public know, because there may be something wrong with the way it was said.
Absolutely.
And secondly, the MP, the deputy leader of the opposition, just called and talked about rebates. And I don't understand that, rebates from CUC, because that is a very, very, very complicated process. Now, I understand them asking for reduction in the duties, but rebates is a different thing in commodities. And the one thing we need to remember is, and you can check this out, as far as I know, government only charges 25 cents per gallon now on diesel for CUC. However, whilst they may reduce that, and that will be direct pass on to the consumer, the thing that to be remembered is that CUC does not get oil in the same manner that you get it at the gas stations. CUC price is 2 months delayed. It has always been 2 months delayed. The reason, so you'll see a delay in the cost of fuel on your bill by 2 months. The reason that is that CUC purchases diesel from those people at world oil price. You were saying about depending when the oil was bought and what was in stock, then the price could change upward or downward. Agreed. But CUC is different. They have a fixed price on world oil price. And world oil price is not known for 2 months because they have to get the average on it during that period, and that's how they buy their fuel, which is the most reliable, economical way to do it. So getting rebates on 2 months past is a very, very complicated thing. So maybe Mr. Brian was talking about reducing the duties on fuel from 25 cents, I don't know, down to what, whether it's 10 or 0. But there was a time that was 50 cents. And we reduced it many years ago, this is 20-odd years ago, 20 years ago maybe, a little less than 20, 2008 I think it was, we reduced that down to trying to 5, and then it was put back up, and then it was reduced again to relieve the sufferance of people with their utilities in that commodity. And yes, we should all know that the water you drink has fuel on it too, because they have electricity, and that's an inherent cost of producing water, whether it is water company or water authority. They charge you for electricity, which translates into fuel cost as well.
I didn't even think about that when it comes to water. That's the first time that idea has popped into my head.
So the water doesn't come out of the sky. They have to use electricity to generate that water. So it's an inherent cost of generating water. So you have the fuel on that as well.
That's a really great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Mr. McLean, I'm sorry that I have to cut you off right here, but we're 2 minutes into the 8 a.m. news, so we got to go to the news. But I promise that I will find the information that I got, at least about the markup per gallon being capped, and I'll find that. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not. But if I'm wrong, I'll absolutely correct it. I've been wrong before. So thank you for calling to say, hey, this is not from your experience what you know, and you're far more experienced than I am. So I'll definitely check that out, and I'll also check out the rates that the government gets per gallon that the CUC then passes on to the consumers. And you had also mentioned the fixed price on world oil that CUC pays, so I'm going to look into that a little bit. I took some notes from what you just said, so hopefully in the next open line I can follow up on those notes and answer your question, as well as just continue this conversation. But thank you so much for sharing, because you did bring different insight and knowledge, and I appreciate you for sharing that with the listeners and with me. We got to go to the 8 a.m. news right now. When I come back, I'll be talking with the Department of Labor and Pensions.
For today's biggest news,
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
I'm April Cummings with your latest news. Police say drivers shouldn't expect a break on traffic enforcement now that Operation Claro's over. The RCIPS reports just over 1,000 prosecutions during the recent road safety campaign, including more than 550 for speeding and 237 for illegal tint.
When it comes to illegal tints, it is such a sore point because we cannot see who is behind the wheel of that vehicle, especially when the front windshield is tinted. And also, it makes it extremely difficult for the driver, especially at nights, to see clearly on the roadways. And we've tested it ourselves. So we know that having tints on your windshield and even the side windows, which breaks the legal limit, is one of those serious offenses.
And when it comes to speeding, PC Athelston Watt says people just need to slow down.
With persons speeding on the roads, we have stopped persons traveling in excess of 90 miles an hour in a 40-mile zone. We had a gentleman only on Saturday night who was traveling 70 miles an hour, traveling north towards West Bay, on West Bay Road, which is a 25-mile zone. And that is just unacceptable.
Audio there courtesy of CIG TV. As turtle nesting gets underway, there are some do's and don'ts.
It's not always obvious where nests are, and so that's why for things like bonfires or bringing any equipment or machinery on the beach, it's really important to reach out to the Department of Environment first, because we can advise where you can and cannot do those activities, and where it's safe to have a bonfire that won't impact a turtle nest.
That's Jane Hardwick from the Department of Environment, visiting Cayman Brac this weekend to provide support, training, and guidance for the Volunteer Turtle Patrol. They look for nests and help track data, as well as keep them safe until the baby turtles hatch. Turtle Patrol's coordinator, Sue Aaron Abel, says it is important to let the turtle mamas do their thing.
In nesting season, which runs from May until November, we would ask that people don't light fires on any of the beaches, because they might unknowingly either lay a fire on top of a nest, or they might be setting a light that would distract a turtle. The other things is that if you are on the beaches in the later evenings and you hear a noise, we would ask that you don't go up to turtles or disturb them. You give them as much space as you possibly can and leave them to get on with their business.
You can find out more by visiting the Department of Environment website and its social media channels. Cayman Brack's heritage and art are coming together later this month in a new exhibition called Heritage Register Reimagined, Cayman Built. The National Trust and the Cayman Brack Artists Meetup Group will unveil the show on Tuesday, May 26th at the historic Eldemeyer House. The display highlights local landmarks through works by Brack artists, including 12-year-old Isaac Cook and professional Simone Scott, with pieces up for silent auction. Most of the proceeds will support the island's Heritage Fund. The public is invited from 4 to 6:30 p.m. at Eldemeyer House on Creek Road. That is your local news at this hour. I'm April Cummings. Now to the BBC for stories making headlines around the world.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The BBC has established that 4 Iran-linked ships have passed through the Strait of Hormuz since the United States began blockading Iranian ports on Monday. 2 had left Iranian ports. Italy says it's suspending its long-standing defence agreement with Israel. The Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, said the decision was made in light of the current situation, but didn't give details. President Zelensky of Ukraine says the Druzhba pipeline, which transports Russian oil to Hungary, will be operational by the end of this month. His announcement came 2 days after elections in which the defeated Prime Minister Viktor Orban sought to present Ukraine as dangerous to Hungary. Mr. Zelensky has also discussed a drone deal with Germany and cooperation on a European missile programme. In a joint news conference in Berlin, Chancellor Merz called for Ukraine to continue with reforms towards joining the EU. The UN humanitarian chief says nearly 700 people have been killed by drone strikes in Sudan since January. Tom Fletcher said he was concerned by the sharp increase in drone warfare in the civil war. Reports from Somalia say government forces have killed 27 al-Shabaab militants, including key commanders, in a security operation in the south. It said the operation in the semi-autonomous state of Jubaland was backed by airstrikes from international partners. 10 Taiwanese people have been indicted on suspicion of spying for China. 9 who had served with Taiwan's Army, Navy, Air Force or Coast Guard were allegedly paid bribes to film military base activities and photograph sensitive documents. The celebrated Irish musician Moya Brennan has died. She was 73. Brennan was the lead singer of the Grammy-winning band Clannad. They became one of Ireland's foremost traditional acts, selling millions of records worldwide. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. The club continues to host successful community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, free site screening in schools, spelling bee, swim meets, and their community pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service for many years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. The 8 a.m. weather update, brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Synopsis indicate fresh to locally strong northeasterly winds and rough seas are expected to prevail through the next 24 hours in association with a ridge of high pressure extending over the northwest Caribbean. Mostly fair and dry conditions are likely to persist through the next 24 hours with a slight chance of showers affecting from Cuba. A small craft alert is in effect, and radar imagery show isolated showers mainly west of the Cayman area, drifting towards the southwest. Now, the forecast for today calling for mostly sunny skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s with a heat index near 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be northeasterly at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 6 to 8 feet. A small craft alert is in effect. Small craft should exercise caution over the open waters, especially along the north and east coast. Within the reef and sheltered areas, conditions may be generally less severe in open waters, but operators should continue to exercise discretion as localized choppy conditions may still develop for today and tonight. Now, the forecast for tonight calling for mostly clear skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures dipping to the mid-70s. Winds will be northeasterly at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 6 to 8 feet. A small craft alert is in effect for tonight as well. Low tide will be this afternoon at 1:41, high tide again tonight at 8. The sun will set this evening at 6:41 and will rise tomorrow morning at 9 minutes past 6. And the outlook is calling for a slight decrease in seas as the ridge of high pressure weakens over the northwest Caribbean, with moderate to rough seas expected from Thursday. A small craft advisory will be in place as marine conditions are expected to slightly improve from Thursday. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Let's hear it for your Wildcat cheerleaders.
Aunt Angie, weren't you a cheerleader?
The best in the Western Hemisphere, until I attempted that switch kick, double twist roundhouse.
Huh?
Exactly. I must have been in the air for 20 seconds before I fell into that snare drum. I set a world record, though, and thankfully I could trust the CG Medical Portal with my claims. All 37 of them.
The CG Medical Portal. Safe and secure. CG Brit-K. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit-K, where people come first.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on our road, see what's slowing and what's flowing. Further up on Shamrock Road, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. Further down, a little different story. It's traffic a little steadier as you approach the Linford-Pearson Highway. On Cool Road, traffic heading to Georgetown is moving at a steady pace. Heading east on Cool Road, traffic is light to moderate, as well as coming from the West Bay four-way stop. Edward Street flowing nicely, and into Georgetown on Shedmore looking good as well. And on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving at a moderate pace in both directions. Godfrey Nixon Way, no issues there. Traffic flowing nicely. Eastern Avenue as well. North Sound Road, steady but flowing traffic. And traffic in the Industrial Park area is moving at a moderate pace. And traffic coming off of the Esterly Tibbetts Highway is moving at a steady pace as well. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, moderate flow of traffic. Agnes Way flowing moderately. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Have a good morning and drive safe.
Craving something new?
Dive into Subway's new seafood subs. 3 recipes inspired by the flavors of the coast, including the crunchy seafood bliss, the scrumptious chipotle tuna crunch, and the delicious breaded fish and ranch sub, made with our new breaded fish nuggets. Subway's new seafood subs. 3 recipes made to rock the boat. Only at Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. In this segment, we're joined by Senior Labor and Pensions Inspectors. We have Elizabeth Macintosh and Ava-Marie Parkinson. And we were supposed to have Sasha Rankin join us, but she wasn't able to come. And I know she's our expert on gratuities. So while we will be talking about some key updates on gratuity, we're also going to be talking about filing complaints early, some training processes, also how the complaint process works, and how to reach the Department of Labor and Pensions. They also have an upcoming gratuity training session on April 30th at the Intergenerational Hub, which we're going to hear about. So, good morning and welcome to The Buzz, ladies.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
No problem. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Good morning. Yeah, we are happy to be here. We are happy to reach out to the public and let them know a little bit more about what we do at the Department of Labor and Pensions.
Well, it's good to have you. I know, Elizabeth, we've spoken maybe about a year ago or a little longer than that.
I'm not sure, but yeah, we have been here before.
I hope to have you guys on at least every year.
Oh, wow.
If not a little bit more, you know.
That can be arranged.
Yeah, I hope so. So we are here to learn a little bit more about the Department of Labor and Pensions, but specifically in your role, if you could describe what you do.
Well, I am a Senior Labor and Pensions Inspector with the department. I'm with the labor units. I'm also the department's data protection leader and information manager.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ava. And
yeah, well, I don't have so many titles, Miss Ava. She's the smart one here.
No, you aren't.
No, I'm also a Senior Labor and Pension Inspector, and also work with the department section of the labor section. And I also are part of the training, in charge of the training along with Miss Sasha. Miss Sasha, we miss you. Get well soon.
Yes.
Yeah, so Miss Sasha and myself coordinate and carry out all Labor Act training throughout the year to private and to the public as well.
Okay, excellent. Can you share with us the primary responsibilities under the Department of Labor and Pensions?
Okay. So the Department of Labor and Pensions, as stated, we've merged pension and labor together. So we have the admin units. They look after labor tribunal preparations, our administrative functions within the departments. We have the inspections unit, which is headed by Mr. Gene Hides. They go out and do inspections of establishments, construction sites. They offer training, safety trainings. And we have the labor unit, which myself and Miss Elizabeth are part of. We do investigations and mediation of labor-related matters. And of course, that is headed by our Deputy Director, Mrs. Lovell Linwood. Yes. And we have the pensions units headed by Miss Amy Wollaston. And they deal with all the pensions matters and housing. They have a number of other things that they do. And our great department that is ensuring compliance within the employment sections of the private sector is headed by our able director, Mr. Bernard Ebanks. Okay. So our key functions is to educate, engage, and enforce Labor Act. And we've been doing a great job on educating the public. Ms. Elizabeth will tell us more about how we go about our education program. We have a very robust system in place. We engage the public through our social media. We are very active with sharing information on Instagram. We have our Facebook page and we have our website. We've launched our calculator over a year ago.
Yes.
Which is very useful to help both employers and employees to calculate their vacation, to calculate minimum wage. That's very helpful. We've been keeping publication schedules active, and you can access, like, for example, things that we do on our website. So keeping the public engaged and educated. we focus mainly on trying to bring justice, resolution to conflicts between employers and employees. So our last resort is to prosecute. We enforce the Labor Act, but our last resort is to prosecute and bring someone before summary court or the Labor Tribunal. We make efforts to engage and educate the employers and employees so that most times they can reach some amicable resolution. So that's, in a nutshell, is some of the things that we do at the Department of Labor and Pensions.
Okay, that was, I think, wonderfully summarized right there. Thank you, Ava, for that. That was great. So education is one of the primary focuses of the Department of Labor and
Correct.
Pensions. We do know that I think it's April 30th. There's an upcoming training by the DLP.
And I'll shoot that over to Miss Elizabeth,
That's
who is
you.
in charge of her training.
Yes, that's exactly correct. We provide training, as Ms. Ava Welful said, to educate the public. And when we say educate the public, it's not only the employees, but also the employers. Because it's important for both parties to know what the rights are, also what the obligations are. So our next training to the public is on the 30th of this month, and it's going to be focusing on gratuity. And our focus attendees will be the service industry, which will be hotels, condos, restaurant, bars, and a lot of people charge gratuity, but they do not know that they need to be registered with our department. So we need to make them understand and be mindful that before you start collecting gratuity, you need to register with the Department of Labor and Pension, and it need to be approved by our director, Mr. Ebanks.
Why does an establishment need to register with the Department of Labor and Pensions if they're collecting gratuity?
Because gratuity is all monies that collecting, and it's different from your standard pay. So is any money that is that costs from that customer and is also pensionable. So you can't just say, oh, I'm collecting gratuity. No, you need to register. You need to select a scheme that you're going to use. We have several schemes like the hourly scheme, the hourly point. We have the volume of sale. And you need to choose one, then apply. The director will approve it or disapprove it. It's his decision, and then obliged by that. And also, as I said, I'm not the expert in gratuity, but yeah, I do have good knowledge in gratuity. And once it's registered and approved by the director, it will require for that employer to submit a report to the Department of Labor and Pension, which Ms. Rankin will review, and along with the director and the deputy director, they will do their things over there that I'm not really involved in that part of it. And gratuity should be paid twice a month.
Okay.
And it will be paid along with that employee wages for that period.
Okay. Is there a difference between gratuity and tips?
The Labor Act does not refer to tips.
Okay.
What is stated in the Labor Act is gratuity. So unfortunately, I'm not able to make no comment on tips because we do not oversee any tip, only gratuity.
Okay.
So just to add to what Ms. Elizabeth said, gratuity is regulated by the Labor Act. It has legal requirements, and as she said, the process has to be ran through and approved by our department. Tips is not regulated, as she said, and there's no specification in what you can give. So a tip is based on the service that you can choose to do that. That's not regulated. The gratuity is, as she said, whatever percentage you are approved by the department to charge, and you have to make it visible on the menu or wherever you can have it visible so that the customers know that you're going to charge me 20% or 15%. So that is regulated. That is separate and apart from any service charge or tips, which the department does not regulate.
I thought gratuity charges were optional as well. Is that so? Am I thinking wrong?
Not No, you're not wrong. Well, remember, gratuity is based on your service. So you go to an establishment and you get your service, you charge your gratuity, and you pay your gratuity because your service was good. Yes, please don't take me up for this, but yes, if you have a bad service, you're not obligated by law to pay your gratuity as a customer. But bear in mind that you're not paying that gratuity going to affect the income of those employees because the employer have no take on gratuity. Gratuity is solely for the employees.
Right. I understand that.
But don't walk to a restaurant and say, I'm not paying, please.
Right. Don't
please,
come
please.
with that mindset automatically. However, if you do get really bad service, sometimes this happens. From my understanding, you are allowed to argue that gratuity charge.
Correct. So,
right. But don't make a habit of that.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. And if
that
you plan
wouldn't be
to
fair.
go back to that establishment, don't refuse to pay your gratuity.
In my observance, I see a lot more of the actual customers that are a headache and a problem as opposed to the servers. So
yes, that's true.
You know, we gotta treat each other with some kindness and respect, no matter the jobs that we're in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And bear in mind that the employees that benefit from that gratuity, the national minimum wage is lower than the average national minimum wage, so is $6.56 plus the gratuity. So it's gonna definitely impact their income if you refuse to pay that gratuity.
Yeah, that's for sure. I would agree with that.
Cayman is expensive, so we need to make sure that everybody can survive.
Agreed, and it's getting more expensive. a little bit of what I was talking about earlier this morning as well. So it's an important thing. It's good to know. You did mention that there's different gratuity schemes. Now, I know that we don't have our expert on gratuity, which is Sasha Rankin. It's Rankin. Is it Rankin?
Rankin.
Okay,
yes,
or Rankin. Correct. Okay, thank you. We don't have Sasha here, who would really give us all the details, but if you can explain at all about the different gratuity schemes.
Well, we have 4 gratuity scheme, which is the hourly point, we have the shift point, and the volume of sales, right? So, as I said, I wouldn't go in too much in depth in that, but we are planning to make another session here where our Deputy Director, Mrs. Linwood, and our Gratuity Officer, Ms. Rankin, will be touching those points in depth. But hey, I'm inviting you, come out to our training, which is going to be on the 30th of this month at the International Generational Hub, which is right next to the right behind Foster, next to DHL.
The old Woods Furniture Building.
Next to DHL. It's still time. Please register. If you are an employee and you are not sure how it's calculated, this is your opportunity. This training is open for everyone, for employee, for employers, even for regular customers that just want to know how does it work. You don't know how it's calculated, what your entitlements are, how often you should receive your gratuity. All that will be covered during Miss Sasha training on the 30th of this month. Come on, register, visit our website, call us at the office, come to the office, 2nd floor at the Midtown Plaza, opposite from Domino's and the bank, Butterfield Bank. Come register. If you're even just curious, come register, come attend the training. I promise you will walk out knowing a lot more than what you know right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I know. Previously, when I've had Sasha on, I know she was able to go into great detail with the different gratuity schemes, everything that we need to know about it. So absolutely, if you're an employer dealing in a service-based industry that does have a gratuity charge, or an employee even, is there a lot of employees that work in service that like to go to this training, or do you find it's more employers?
Well, it's both.
Good. That's good.
It's both because is a lot of employees that are not really aware of how it's calculated. They don't know. They'll say, oh, am I really getting the right pay? Am I getting the right gratuity? Well, guess what? That's what Ms. Sasha is there for, because when that report is submitted to our department, Ms. Sasha will go through the report along with that person paid with employees' pay statement and ensure that what they're paid is what they should receive.
Okay, so are the employers supposed to give the Department of Labor monthly reports then on what the gratuity was?
Yes,
collected?
so the industries that are registered or business that are registered with the department are to submit the report. They submit it to the department, as I said earlier, and then Ms. Sasha will go through it and make sure it matches with what that employee is being paid. If there's a discrepancy, I'm sure she will be reach out to them and say, hey, what's going on? Or if something needs to be adjusted or something needs to be fixed, Ms. Sasha will be there reaching out to the employer for them to fix. Or maybe, as I said, sometimes it's not because people just don't want to adhere to the law. Is sometimes is they don't know.
Right.
So, and that's the reason why we are pushing the education part of it. So,
all right, I think it's great. Is it a free training?
Well, I know I'm talking a lot about the gratuity training because it's our next upcoming training. Right. However, we do offer training for the whole labor, the entire Labor Act as well. And that is our most frequent training. The training is not free. The training have a cost of $75 per attendee, and it's a half-day training from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. As I said, education is priceless, so you will be learning a lot, and you will clarify all those questions that you have. And once you complete the training, you will receive a certificate signed by our director, Mr. Ebanks. And you can show off your little certificates. So, yes. So it's not for free.
Well, but I think that's all right because it's an investment in your business. And to pay the $75 to learn exactly how you should be calculating gratuities, how everything works, the different gratuity schemes that are offered, knowing exactly what to do, you're establishing more trust with your employees. There's nothing wrong with that. You're hopefully not going to land in any issues with the Department of Labor and Pensions if you're doing the wrong thing. So that's a very small $75 investment to ensure that you're complying with what the Act says.
I agree. And you get light refreshment.
Absolutely. Well,
for your $75, right?
Yes, that's exactly correct. And just remember that Miss Rankin, Miss Ava mentioned it briefly, that carry out inspection. So yes, what they do random inspection, gratuity inspection to the different establishment to ensure that the gratuity scheme is visible to the customers and also to the employees.
Okay.
And she will go to establishment and say, can I see your records? And remember that based on the Labor Act, you should keep your record for 2 years, up to 2 years. And with the Pension Act is 5 years, Gratuity Act is 3 years. So just keep it for 5 years.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yes, just keep it for 5 years. She can walk in at any time. She need no, what do you call it?
Prior authorization.
To go to this establishment to ask for a report or to see the records.
Okay. The law gives the director those powers. Section 73, director can request to see your records. They can, and we are the representatives, so we can go in and do inspection of your records, which is quite legal.
Have you had pushback?
I've not done an inspection. Ms. Sasha does that in the inspection unit. But I'm sure that there may have been some challenges. Mm-hmm. But again, those would have been dealt with in a professional and amicable manner.
Ooh, Sasha, I wish you were here because I would love to hear the stories on a feedback. I'm a little late on the commercial break right now, so let us take our first commercial break right here, and then let's get into the complaints process when we come back.
Okay. Absolutely.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy. Janelle? From spring break 08?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG Britke. Good like that.
Are you ready to be inspired? Calling all marketers, creatives, and visionaries. Join CIMPA's 12th annual marketing conference, Level Up, Marketing's New Formula, happening April 17th and 18th at Hotel Indigo. Discover the latest trends in marketing innovation, sharpen your skills in hands-on workshops, and connect with global industry leaders who are changing the game. Plus, celebrate the best of Cayman's marketing and creative professionals at the CIMPA Awards Gala, honoring the brightest minds in the field. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at CIMPA.ky.
Brought to you by the Department of Tourism, Airview Media, DART, Health City, Compass Media, Armada Films, Signs of Paradise, Caribbean Creations, the Department of Communications, and Radio Cayman.
Enjoy an evening of music with Spirit of Harmony, a John Gray Memorial Church concert, Saturday, April 18th at 6:30 p.m. An impressive lineup including local a cappella group The Stingrays, Glenn Inanga, Hannah Shen, Emily Mowbray, and more. Free for all to attend, with a special offering in support of Lila Nell Ebanks Music Fund. The Spirit of Harmony, Saturday, April 18th, 6:30 p.m. at the John Gray Memorial Church in West Bay.
Attention all farmers, importers, exporters, and valued customers. The Department of Agriculture made an important upgrade to better serve you. Effective immediately, their main reception will be accepting card payments only for key services such as rabies vaccinations, import and export permits, farmers' ID cards, animal adoptions, and processing. No cash payments will be accepted for these services at reception. This change will provide a more efficient service for everyone. So, remember to bring your debit or credit card when visiting the Department of Agriculture. For more information, call 947-3090.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I have with me from the Department of Labor and Pensions, we have Senior Labor and Pensions Inspectors Elizabeth Macintosh and Ava-Marie Parkinson. And Elizabeth was just giving us the rundown on the upcoming Gratuity training session, which is going to be on April 30th at the Intergenerational Hub. You can go to the DLP website and you can register there. It is $75 per person, and you will leave with a great investment on your company, on how to treat your employees or how to ensure that they're getting their gratuities properly and the different kind of gratuity schemes that are there. And as well, if you're an employee or you work in a service-based industry that does also rely on gratuities, you are welcome to join this training too, and knowledge is power. So I think it's a great thing that we are offering this, and it's a continuous thing. I know you guys do this continuously throughout the year for several years now, so it's appreciated. But now let's talk about one of the other big things, which to me is the complaints. When stuff isn't going right with employees and employers, and man, do I know some people, have I experienced it. There can be a lot of unfair treatment, a lot of very questionable treatment of employees, sometimes employers as well, in the workforce. And it's, what do you do? And I have myself been in instances where people aren't getting paid. They weren't receiving their pensions for a long time. They just weren't receiving it. Those employers got fined, although I really think that we need to up the fines on those employers because they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're getting away with murder. That's not on you to increase the fines, but that is my suggestion, because, man, when you know you're going to get away with something and barely have to do anything about it, you're going to keep doing it. That's how I operate. I will push the boundaries until, I can't. So, complaints.
And that's why we're here, the Department of Labor and Pensions, because we make sure that there is a balance and to ensure that there's compliance with the law. It doesn't matter who you are. Once you give us a call, you come into our office, you are going to be informed and you're going to be given the tools to decide whether you want to file a complaint or not. So before your process starts, you can either call to make an inquiry, because sometimes persons are going through stuff and they can either take up the phone and call to ask questions. We give guidance. Sometimes that leads into them making a preliminary investigation report where we evaluate the information given and any evidential material they bring and give them guidance. You can either make a complaint or we can do mediation. If the employees are willing. And what I need to emphasize is we do not contact employers without the consent of the employees. Because some persons, they're going through stuff at work and they want to speak to somebody. You come and speak with us. Nobody will ever know unless you give us permission to contact your employer and speak to the employer on your behalf to ensure there is compliance. That can go one of two ways. The employer can say, I was not aware. We educate you, and now you have the knowledge, the tool to do the right thing. And the matter is resolved either by payment, changing maybe something in this statement of working conditions, changing times. There are so many other actions that can trigger from a conversation with us who educate you. In the event the employer insists on not complying with the law, depending on what the complaint is, it can either go one of two ways if they're not compliant, either through a summary court to get resolution or the labor tribunal. So the first thing, once we establish that this person has a legitimate complaint, there are breaches or there is a breach of the Labor Act, we give you the guidance. This is how we can proceed. In the event that we try mediation, we've met with both parties and they're not reaching an agreement, because we're mediators. We don't make the decision for them. We give them the opportunity to discuss the matter and reach a resolution, something that they both can agree to, and ensure that there is no further breach of the Act. And then the next stage is investigation of the complaints, which can lead to various different ways. We can, in our investigation as labor officers, we sometimes identify health and safety matters where we have to involve the inspection unit. We identify breaches of the Pension Act, and we investigate from the pensions units. And sometimes we refer to other agencies if we identify other breaches. So you coming to speak with us for one thing, we can identify several other things that needs to be fixed in the employment sector. So if you, for example, a complaint of unpaid wages, that's a serious matter. You can't be working and not getting paid. That's a matter that you can be charged and brought before a summary court. And the summary court decides, and the law does say that the court can add another 10% interest on the sum owed. Oh. So you don't want to be working persons and not paying them their wages. Breach of minimum wage act, on the minimum wage order, that's a serious matter. We do not take these things lightly. So we investigate, we send our investigation reports to the Department of Public Prosecution, Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, and based on the evidence, they review and decide whether the employer should be charged.
Okay, what is the timeline in this whole process?
All right, all the matters that are addressed by our department, not pensions though. Pensions have a different statute of limitation. All our matters have a 6-month statute of limitation.
What do you mean?
That
exactly?
means we have 6 months from the time the department received evidence that there's a breach of the Labor Act to investigate or mediate. And if there's no resolution in mediation, we have to get that to the DPP. They provide us with a ruling. If they recommend a charge, we have those charges filed and registered with the court before that 6-month period end. If we fail to have that done before that 6 months period expires, the matter becomes statute bar, and there is nothing that the department can do to assist those persons. So it is our responsibility, once we have evidence of the breach, to follow our internal standard of operating procedure.
But sorry, you said a term there that I don't think I'm familiar with, or maybe I just didn't hear it right. If within the 6 months you weren't able to, I guess, open that investigation, what happens next?
I said statute barred.
Yes,
that means the statutory period of 6 months expired, so it cannot be dealt with before the competent authority, which would be a summary court.
It cannot be dealt with?
No.
So then what happens? The person's complaint never is dealt with?
Never gets done, and that's when the director will come on us and, oh, you failed to do your job. So that's why from the onset, when I meet with a client and we've identified that there is a breach of the Labor Act, I'm going to tell you, we have this period. We normally, for our standard operating procedure internally, we ensure that within 3 months, there's a decision made. That employee needs to decide, okay, I'm going to support the investigation. I want the matter investigated, or I'm going to ask you to close it. If the decision is made to investigate, we try our best to gather the evidence, prepare the investigation report, and submit it to the deputy director for review and further submission to the DPP. So we try to get that process done at least within the 3 to 4 month period, because we understand the DPP will need time to review and make a decision. So we don't want to disenfranchise anybody, that would be further abuse of process and abuse of the person who has already been suffering from employer not paying or working overtime and not being paid. So we try our best to ensure that we meet those standards.
What would be the reason that you're being told to basically shut down, we're not going to investigate this further?
If we identify from our investigation, first we do a preliminary investigation, that the complaint has no substance, there is no breach, then we're going to inform you based on what the law. For example, somebody comes in to say, okay, I have been working 35 hours per week and I'm working on Sunday and I'm supposed to get double. That's not a legitimate complaint. That's not a breach of the Labor Act, because there is nothing in the Act that you should get double pay for a Sunday. So we're going to tell you, this is what the law says. The only time you get double is when you work on a public holiday. You get double for the hours that you work on that public holiday. If you work on a Sunday, and you have not exceeded the standard work day either by contract or the standard work day of 9 hours per day or 45 per week, then there is no overtime earned, because overtime only starts after you've exceeded the standard day or the standard week.
And double time, does that kick in after a certain overtime period is met?
Double time is only on a public holiday. Hours worked on a public holiday.
Okay.
So if somebody comes with a complaint like that, our duty is to educate you. Sometimes we have to sit down and go through the law and show them that this is what the Act says. I understand that you may have been misinformed along the line, because, some persons in the community think they can give you the wrong guidance, and some people hold fast to that. So oftentimes we sit down with persons and go through the Act, show them the Act, and you understand,
yes,
and so that they get a better understanding.
Right.
And unfortunately, we'll not be able to investigate this.
Right. And sometimes it's also a matter of, especially if you're an expat, like myself, I know how a little bit at least about the Canadian labor laws there. We would get double time. And this is coming from my movie set work, extra work back in the day. Like over 20 years ago. So I would be, you're on set for at least 12 hours a day, but you were very happy about that, because once 12 hours hits, you're getting double time. So that's for an example there. But that's me coming with, okay, this is what we do in Canada. So I might be applying, okay, they must be doing something like that in Cayman. So there's that assumption.
Yes.
You know, that the law you know in your country might be applied here as well.
And we deal with that a lot because Cayman is a melting pot of cultures and different countries coming together. So what they knew from their home country is not the same as what happens here. So that is why it is very important for us to start with education. Educating them so they understand. And some persons, you have to go through baby steps to get them to understand. And we have no problem doing that. As long as you leave our office more empowered and more informed, we're happy, because as an employee, you're going to hold your employer accountable. As an employer coming to us, because they do seek guidance from us, you are going to be empowered with knowledge to ensure that there is no breach. You're going to be more compliant, and we have less complaints.
Yes.
We have less people going to court or going to the labor tribunal.
Yes, I agree with you. Oh, yes. They know the
because
law.
Because our aim is to ensure that we build better relationships between employers and employees in the private sector.
We got to go to a commercial break right now. It's our last commercial break in this segment. I'm a little late with it. Susan was going to kill me, but I'm sorry about that. We'll come back to this conversation in just a minute.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Are you ready to be inspired? Calling all marketers, creatives, and visionaries. Join CIMPA's 12th annual marketing conference, Level Up, Marketing's New Formula, happening April 17th and 18th at Hotel Indigo. Discover the latest trends in marketing innovation, sharpen your skills in hands-on workshops, and connect with global industry leaders who are changing the game. Plus, celebrate the best of Cayman's marketing and creative professionals at the CIMPA Awards Gala, honoring the brightest minds in the field. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at CIMPA.ky.
Brought to you by the Department of Tourism, Airview Media, DART, Health City, Compass Media, Armada Films, Signs of Paradise, Caribbean Creations, the Department of Communications, and Radio Cayman.
The 6:15 Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
For 50 years, Radio Cayman has been the heartbeat of our islands, informing, connecting, and giving Cayman a voice. From breaking news to community stories, the journey continues. Radio Cayman, 50 years of excellence and still going strong.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. We're just about to wrap up our conversation. We might have about 7 or 6 minutes left with the Department of Labor and Pensions, and I have with me in studio Senior Labor and Inspections Officer. We have Elizabeth Macintosh and Ava-Marie Parkinson. So we do have a question that did come in via WhatsApp from one of our listeners, so thank you for the question. The question says, if the Labor Act stipulates a 45-hour work week, why is it that work, WRC, requires 40 hours per employee?
Well, I can't answer the question why work requires that. That's something that we'd need to discuss with them. However, what the Labour Act does is provide the basic. However, the law says it doesn't prevent any employer from providing benefits that are more favourable. So Section 6 of the Labour Act requires employers to give their employees what is called a statement of working condition, and it outlines your number of hours, days of the week you work, your rate of pay, how often you'd be paid, stuff like that. So an employer can make the standard work week for that employee 40 hours. They can make it 35 hours, but they cannot go above 45 because 45 is the cap. Going over 45 means you will be paying overtime, which is time and a half the regular rate.
Okay.
So it doesn't prevent them from going below, but they can't go above without charging or paying rather time and a half.
Okay. All right.
So
thank
you can give me 20 days vacation. That's more beneficial to me. After working just a year, the law only requires you to give 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But you can give more benefits than what the law offers.
Okay, I like that
Yes.
added benefit right there.
Yes.
in particular. So hopefully we answered that person's question at least as much as we could without knowing why work requires.
I don't know why it's a requirement for work.
Or as is how they stated it. So
okay.
Yeah. So it could be perhaps.
Or
just how they
maybe
stated it.
I'm not sure, but it could be based on the salary or the rate of pay they're offering. Maybe work calculated to say, oh, you can't give this person more than 40 hours to get that pay. We don't know. So there needs to be further clarification. Maybe they need to speak with someone from work to get that addressed.
Okay. I'm looking at the time. Okay, we only have a few minutes left, about 3. So if there's anything about the complaints process that I haven't hit that you want to let us know.
Okay, just in short, as I said earlier, the matters that are not resolved via mediation can either go to the labor tribunal or the summary court for resolution. Matters that go before the labor tribunal are unfair dismissal and severance. The labor tribunal is a competent authority to address those 2 matters only.
Okay.
All right? And the filing of a complaint for unfair dismissal, you must meet the requirement, if not on probation, work at least 3 months with the employer. And also you... not on probation, yes. Work at least 3 months with the employer. You must file that complaint within 90 days of your date of termination. Anything after that 90-day period, the Labor Act, Section 54, says that we cannot address. So that is very important for first persons filing complaint. Severance, there is no timeline for you to file severance. Once you've worked a year or more with the employer, you're entitled to severance and you can file that complaint. For matters such as your overtime, your unpaid wages, your vacation, your sick leave, those are matters that would have been addressed if there's evidence and a charge by a summary court. Okay. And those have, again, 6 months statute of limitation. So it's important to file these complaints early and give the information so that we can progress the investigation in a timely manner.
Okay. I wish we had more time so I could get into more
and
stories and other things.
We're happy to sit and discuss with you and give you the tools you need to be better employers, more compliant, and also employees who hold employers accountable. Thank you.
All right. Now
have some time?
We have a couple minutes, Elizabeth, so I know we got to get some dates out.
Good. So once again, I want to remind the public that our training. And we have number of training. We have a few coming up for the balance of the year. We do have one on May 14, July 16, and November 12. Those would be focused on Labor Act, the General Labor Act. Yes, we will be touching gratuity as well. And before I go, remember, if you are charging gratuity, collecting gratuity, and not registered with the department, you can be fined with $25,000. So do not collect gratuity if you're not registered and approved by the Department of Labor and Pensions. We also have, for the year, we have 2 training for gratuity specifically, which is April 30th coming up now, September 17th. And my family in the BRAC, we have not forget about you. We do have training coming up in the BRAC in June. So we'll be promoting the training in the BRAC a little bit more coming up. Please don't miss it. You are a family as well, and we have not forget about you. So call us at 945-8960, and we can assist you. You don't have to give us any personal information. You can be anonymous. You can ask your question. We're happy to answer you. We also have our hotline, which is 945-3073, and you can leave your message there, and we will look into it. And also follow us on Instagram at DLP Cayman. Follow up on Facebook at DLP Cayman also, or visit our website, dlp.gov.ky. And call me if you want to call me directly, 244-4036.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. You did great in those 2 minutes right there. You really
Sorry
got that out.
Too fast.
I think you need to be on radio all the time now. All right. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. I know that we could have gotten into way more, time didn't necessarily allow it. Sasha, we miss you. Hopefully we'll have you back on again. And thanks for just taking the time to update us, let us know, especially with the complaints process too, letting us know about the training that is coming up.
We were happy to be here. As we said, our aim is to educate.
Yes.
The more you know the regulation, the more you adhere to it. As Ms. Ava said, the less we take people to court, because that is not our intention. It's to educate you and ensure that the Labor Act is not breached.
All right.
So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. It was great. Thank you. We're going to go to the 9 a.m. headline news. And then after the news, I'll be talking about the upcoming CIMPA conference and Gala, which is happening this weekend.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. The Cayman Islands Nursing and Midwifery Association is gearing up for its second annual symposium next month, focusing on advanced nursing under the theme Our Nurses, Our Future. The free event is set for Thursday, the 14th of May at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall on the UCCI campus. Starting at 2 p.m., it's open to registered nurses and other healthcare professionals as part of International Nurses Week and International Nurses Day activities. In international headlines, in Europe, Ukraine and Germany are moving ahead with plans to jointly produce advanced drones and other battle-tested defense systems as Kyiv looks to scale up its fight against Russia's invasion. President Volodymyr Zelensky and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz say teams are now working on a bilateral drone deal covering various drone types, missiles, software, and modern defense systems, reinforcing Berlin's pledge not to waver in supporting Ukraine. In the U.S., an aviation safety bill known as the ALERT Act, prompted by last year's deadly midair collision between an American Airlines jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter near Washington, D.C., is heading to a vote in the House. The bill, backed by key industry groups, would require newer locator technology for aircraft around busy airports. And the National Transportation Safety Board says the measure now addresses its long-standing recommendations after the crash that killed 67 people in the Potomac River. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I'm very happy to welcome to the studio one of my friends, but she's not here on a friendship level right now. We're here to talk about her role with the Cayman Islands Marketing Professional Association, and I'm welcoming Rebecca Walcott-Romani, who is head of training with CIMPA. So good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Kathy. And I'm really excited to talk about the conference and the gala that we have this week.
Me too. I know how much it takes to be a part of this.
Yes.
Having just come off the board at end of February, was working with you guys on this conference in Gala up to then, and to see that it is still coming along, and we are at the final stretch right now.
Yep,
so
final
Friday
stretch,
and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday at Hotel Indigo.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Give us a little bit of background on CIMPA for people who may not know who CIMPA is. What are the objectives and the mission?
Sure. So CIMPA is the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association. It's a volunteer-led group. We have about 11 members, and I am currently the director of training there. So I kind of divvy up all the trainings, lunch and learns, workshops that we have. And sort of the mission for CIMPA is really providing professional development, collaboration, and advocacy for marketing professionals on the islands, and really ensuring that Cayman as a whole has opportunities for creatives to learn and to grow.
Yes. Now, I love it. I think CIMPA does a great thing. How long have you been involved with CIMPA? And you said you do put on the trainings, right?
Yes, so I do the trainings. So when I first moved on island, I joined the conferences. I thought they were so fun.
That's how I met you, I think.
Yes, I met you at the conference. It was great. And from there, actually, I volunteered to help in the 2024 conference with you guys and really loved it. And basically, my job, I work at Health City. They put my name in the hat for Rising Star of the Year, won that award, which was amazing. Felt so lucky, and that was a fantastic conference and gala that you all put together.
Thank you.
And I said I want to do a little bit more, so I also put my name in the hat for a board position and got that in charge of training. So it's kind of evolved over the years, and I'm really excited to see how we grow. We just did a fun little rebrand, so our colors are a lot more vibrant and fresh, and we're sort of bringing that energy to the conference and gala this week as well.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. I love the rebrand. I think it looks so good. So big up to Simon at
BB&B.
Thank you. That's where I was about to get a tongue twister going on, so thank you. He did a great job with that.
Yes, they did a great job.
So if you're looking for any logo redesigns or branding work, I'm going to shout out Simon right there.
Yes.
Okay, so we are highlighting the upcoming CIMPA conference and gala this week, Friday and Saturday. Share with us what the theme is and what can people expect from the conference.
Yeah, so this year's theme is Level Up Marketing's new formula. So the goal is really to cover some of the main strategies, AI technologies, everything that's kind of spicing up the marketing field for us. And we have a wide variety of speakers, which we'll get to later on today's show. But this is a 2-day event, so it sort of brings together real-world experiments from the conference and then into the gala, which is on Saturday, where we kind of award people for all the amazing work that they've done. I mean, everyone that's shortlisted has done fantastic work, but it's just a way to sort of celebrate some of those high achievers.
For me, being in the industry forever now, the conference is very important, but I love the awards gala because it really does celebrate what I like to call the unsung heroes behind all those great marketing campaigns, messages you see out there, whatever graphics and visuals that are out there, videos. Those people who create that and come with strategy, they're not always appreciated or celebrated.
Yes.
They're behind the scenes.
Exactly. And sometimes they stay behind the scenes and you kind of have to bring them out of their shell. And there's so much magic, I think, that these islands are doing in terms of the creative space. So it's really fun to kind of highlight that and have a night to celebrate it as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And you're a former winner of the Rising Star Award,
Yes.
right? So I think the last one then. You're the last recipient of that. Yeah. So awesome. Okay. So what does the conference schedule for Friday look like?
Yeah. So we have a full day. It's at the Hotel Indigo. Starts at 8 a.m. And we actually have some conference and speaker tickets available still, which I'll talk to you towards the end of the show about how to purchase those tickets. We have student discounts, etc. So in terms of the layout, we have a mix of workshops and panel discussions. They're all basically dynamic presentations with breaks in between that cover a variety of topics. So I can give you some examples of some of the speakers that we have. So kicking off one of the first few presentations, we have the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism. So they're kind of discussing that amazing Welcome to Vacay campaign that they've done and put so much spend behind that sort of repositions Cayman as this broken vacation culture. So they're kind of going through the full overview of that campaign and how it came to what it is today. And then still locally, from a local representation standpoint, we have Onisha Richards from the Department of Communications. She's going to be focusing on how the government communications has transformed and how we kind of go beyond the press releases and all that. What's the behind the scenes of things? And we've actually done a lunch and learn with the DOC. I've done it with Lisa Parks, which was really, really great. It was on AI and ethical AI, so it was very cool. So yeah, they're doing amazing things. We have David from Everything 345, and then on the international front, we have a lot of international speakers. I'll just name two of them. So one is Mark Frankel, who is the founder and chief creative officer of Sardine Academy. He's worked with brands like Dart, Sony, USA Today, J. Crew, Coach, Alvin Ailey, Audible, and he's focusing on AI, so hysteria to adoption and beyond. So kind of figuring out best practices, how to integrate AI into your marketing strategy, which a lot of companies on Island have been doing. And then we have Ted, who is the co-founder and partner of BravoCom. So he's sort of going to be focused on StratCom. So leveling up strategic communications, navigating change, trust, and technology. So really a wide variety of presenters and topics for the day.
Okay. I like that we are doing still focusing on the AI. Because
yes.
AI is... for marketers, as you know, we were completely threatened. We were not going to have a career. AI is going to completely take us over.
Yeah.
That is not what I've experienced.
Yeah.
And I keep saying I use AI to collaborate with. I'm not challenging it in any bad way. It's not challenging me in any bad way.
Exactly.
But it's, I'm not competing with it. I'm collaborating with AI.
Yeah.
And it's been great in assisting me. But from your experience, what did you think when AI was first coming into the world? And, it's been around for a long time, but especially in the marketing industry, it's been introduced. What were your first thoughts? And then now, how do you use AI in your work?
That's a great question. So I actually... obviously was first a bit intimidated at the thought of it, but then when you kind of pull back the lens, you see how many tools already integrate in AI into the structure. And so it's kind of something that once you train yourself, you can actually use to your advantage. Of course, yes, there's the fear that they're going to replace our jobs. There are some sectors that will necessarily happen in, but there are also new sectors I think that will be created through integrating AI. So for me, it's more a matter of welcoming it. And I work at Health City, so we actually incorporate AI and just overall robotics and that kind of fast forward thinking in so many different ways. We use a lot of robotic technology right now. We actually have a robot, Da Vinci robot, that we use that really improves efficiency actually with some of the surgical techniques that we have. And then not only in the, medical standpoint, we also utilize AI from a marketing strategy standpoint just to kind of better understand our audience and also for efficiency. So I think for us, even from a healthcare aspect in Cayman, we've really tried to incorporate it more. And I think we're seeing sort of the fruits of the labor there by, finding some integrations that make sense. Not using it to sort of, hinder our own growth, but using it to kind of help us be more advantageous and efficient. So it's all a work in progress. I think there's going to be so much more of it in the future. So it's all about testing out what works. And of course, as a company, you have to figure out, what are the boundaries that you set as well.
Right. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
Very important. All right. We're going to go to our first commercial break right now. When we come back, let's turn to the awards gala.
Great.
All right.
Saturday, April 18th, will be the gathering of the future. The gathering of budding scientists, budding botanists, budding engineers, budding medical specialists, marine biologists, systems architects, and much, much more. The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair will be at the Arc Commander Bay 8 a.m. to 12 noon. The gathering of the future. Students from over 15 schools across Cayman. Save the date, April 18th. The Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair, sponsored by CUC, supported by the Cayman Motor Federation. Sign up today, rotarysciencefair.ky. The future is sparking.
Did you know the MMR vaccine protects children against measles, mumps, and rubella, 3 highly contagious viral diseases? Measles can cause serious complications such as pneumonia and brain inflammation. Under the updated National Immunization Schedule, the first dose of MMR vaccine will now be given at 12 months instead of 15 months, providing earlier protection for children. Vaccination trains the immune system to fight infections, keeping family and communities healthy. Ask your healthcare provider about the updated schedule today. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, Environment, and Sustainability and the Public Health Department.
Are you ready to be inspired? Calling all marketers, creatives, and visionaries. Join CIMPA's 12th annual marketing conference, Level Up, Marketing's New Formula, happening April 17th and 18th at Hotel Indigo. Discover the latest trends in marketing innovation, sharpen your skills in hands-on workshops, and connect with global industry leaders who are changing the game. Plus, celebrate the best of Cayman's marketing and creative professionals at the CIMPA Awards Gala, honoring the brightest minds in the field. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at CIMPA.ky.
Brought to you by the Department of Tourism, Airview Media, DART, Health City, Compass Media, Armada Films, Signs of Paradise, Caribbean Creations, the Department of Communications, and Radio Cayman.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association and their upcoming conference, which is this Friday at Hotel Indigo. The conference is called Level Up, Marketing's New Formula. And on Saturday is going to be the awards gala with CIMPA. And this is one of my favorite things. And as Rebecca did say, 2024, we had a really nice gala going on. It was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing this year's gala, and let's talk a little bit about this. So the awards that we're recognizing, can you explain the purpose of the CIMPA Awards? I know you touched on it a little bit, and the different award categories that are out there.
Yeah, so the CIMPA Awards are this Saturday. The purpose of it is to recognize and honor sort of the achievements of Cayman's marketing and creative industries. So essentially how it works is we do have a form that you would fill out. You'd put in the criteria that you meet. You can add in additional materials, videos, images, anything that you want to kind of support that nomination, and then it's reviewed by judges. And so there are a total of 10 categories, so I'll just list those out. It's website app of the year, video of the year, campaign of the year, brand of the year, community impact of the year, markets of the year, creative professional of the year, rising star of the year, and then agency of the year. And this year we've actually posted overviews of the exact judging criteria. So we have 4 sections for how our judges have based their scores. So that is distinction, which is what makes this work or their work stand out and gain a competitive edge. Impact, which is how was this project, person, or agency impactful, effective, and successful. Engagement, which is how did this project, person, or agency engage customers. Innovation, which is which innovative marketing elements were critical to the success of this project, person, or agency. So that's the 4 different sections for the judging criteria in which it's based. And we've had an extremely competitive, I think we had over 40 or 50 submissions.
Awesome.
Maybe close to 60. I don't even know the count. It just rose really high. So we're really happy to see just how many nominations we've had.
People were waiting on it.
Yes.
Yeah. They definitely were, and I love to see it because it's a chance again for creatives to be recognized. And then it's not only creatives, because something like App of the Year and even Agency of the Year. So we're also looking at entrepreneurs,
yes,
that are in Cayman and supporting the marketing industry here. Not just marketing, but it could be App of the Year, could be any kind of industry.
Definitely.
So it could be an app for finance,
app
for working out, fitness, anything like that. So, and we've seen that with Cayman Enterprise City. We've seen some amazing businesses come out with them, especially through their business design competitions. So I would love to see even more, I guess, submissions with some of those categories, App of the Year, Website of the Year, whatever it might be, because it's a lot more exposure for our businesses and brands in Cayman. And I love it, because if we didn't have this awards gala, then these people aren't being recognized.
Definitely.
And I know it feels good. And I'm sure it felt really good for you to be recognized. You're making some waves in Cayman. Yeah. It's good to know that. Okay. So this is always a big thing, especially now with AI out. There's a lot of business owners and marketers that do support CIMPA. But then there's a lot of people out there who think, man, is marketing really necessary? Do I really need to hire people to do marketing in my business? I mean, AI can just do my marketing now. I'm hearing that a lot. Well, AI can just do it. What do you think in terms of value that marketing brings?
I think that it's an investment in your talent development, and also it helps to put Cayman on more of an international scope in terms of our marketing standards. So I think it differentiates between, everyone has their own opinion of the value of marketing and what it brings to the table. But being a marketer myself, I can see firsthand how it can impact a business, and also how it can revive different areas and, make things have a different perspective that they didn't have before. So I think that creative component is really critical in helping the longevity of any company.
I'd agree. Absolutely. Yeah. For those who might be on the fence a little bit right now about going to the conference or debating whether they should get tickets, what would you want, I guess, marketers or industry people to know? Because you don't have to just be a marketer to go to the CIMPA conference.
No, definitely. And I think what's great as well is that there's a business scope to the CIMPA conference. So just seeing how investing in certain technologies like AI, for example, have an impact on a business. And then many businesses that maybe have a smaller investment in marketing, but have a large investment in things like AI or comms or strat comms or PR, stuff like that. So there are different components, I think, to the conference, and I think that there's definitely something for everyone. We try to make the topic and the overall theme this year very overarching, so it covers a variety of different topics, and also the speakers cover a variety of different fields and interests, so there definitely is something for everybody.
I like the theme a lot, the Level Up Marketing's New Formula, because there is advances in marketing. There's new technology. We do have to level up. If we don't, we're going to get lost.
Definitely.
We're going to get lost in the sauce. People aren't going to really pay attention to us. So we always, in every industry, not just marketing, we have to upskill, we have to train, we have to learn best new methods and practices. And I think it's great that CIMPA does provide that for the community, whether you're a marketer or not. So I think it's a really, really good thing. From when you came here to Cayman, which I don't know what year it was a few years ago, to now.
2022, yeah.
Was it 2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 4 years, yeah.
now.
Oh my gosh, time is flying by.
Have you seen the marketing community change or evolve since you've been here?
Yes, definitely. I think there's much more of a storytelling brand purpose behind marketing on the islands. And I think less of a promotional focus. So even with Welcome to Vacay, like, you're focused on what is the storytelling behind that ideal tourist that comes on the island, what is the experience that they're having. And as someone who lives here, I want to have that experience too. So, and also working at Health City, like, we have to incorporate more of a storytelling aspect and really have that patient buy into the service that we're providing, especially from a medical standpoint, which can seem a bit boring. How do we engage the audience? And we've really done that through partnering with, Rob from Armada Films and putting together these really innovative videos and imaging that kind of showcases, that patient just had a heart attack. We treated him, and here he is with his family on the beach. So it really goes beyond maybe some of the more traditional focuses that we had in the past, and really incorporating new ways to tell a story and not just be, black and white and with how we did things in the past.
I feel like it's starting to get a lot more personal in some sentences, personal, but on a wide basis, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the storytelling aspect, especially that Health City has done. So if I see a video from somebody that has gone through a medical procedure or is battling something, and the treatment they received, what they're going through, first, it's so hard for somebody to share that story, because how the public might perceive you just never know, right?
Yeah.
So there's that vulnerability aspect that's there. But then you have somebody they're telling a story for a reason, and that's usually to educate you and make sure that hopefully you're not going to go through the same thing, maybe take these steps or understand, hey, these were my symptoms. This is what happened. This was the route of treatment I chose. This is where I went and who helped me.
Yeah.
that kind of information, because we do live in a culture that it's very hush-hush, that you don't speak about really anything, apparently. So in that sense, especially medical personal things. So when you're able to share these kind of stories, I think it's so important, because, man, one little story like that will connect with people and can absolutely change how somebody approaches something, whether it could be screening, whether it could be changing their habits. So to me, it's really important, and people don't always make that connection with marketing and the overall objectives that a business does, what they're really trying to show.
Definitely.
Yeah. One of the things that I love, I guess, about the storytelling aspect and what I'm seeing, especially with Health City. So you guys are doing some great things. I would love to be watching your Da Vinci robot. I think that's so interesting.
I know. I've been invited to procedures, and I'm like, actually, I don't think I want to watch open heart surgery. Yes.
Wow.
I kind of like to watch it on the TV and like have that be what I see, but just the thought, I guess one day maybe. With the robot, yes.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the future of marketing in the Cayman Islands, what do you think it holds for us here?
I think there's so much potential for us. I think we'll also see more collaboration. I think that's something that people are striving to do as well, is figuring out how to incorporate other partnerships into their marketing strategy, and also evolving that way and embracing that collaboration. I think we'll definitely see the rise of more micro-influencers as well, just because living on this island only for a couple of years, I realized how much these micro-influencers can make an impact in someone's point of view.
Are you speaking from your own perspective? Because I'm pretty sure you're a micro-influencer in Cayman.
And also just seeing other people I think I follow for food advice or wellness advice. And I think that's something that people are slowly embracing more and more and more and investing in. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that grows. That creates an economy as well for the island too.
Huge. I'm actually seeing so many more people trying to get into being creators.
Yeah.
I know of a Caymanian girl who picked up, went to the UK, said this is what I'm going to try to do. Complete focus on it, and has children. And I'm like, to me, that seems like such a scary move, but that's what she wants to do, and that's what she's pursuing, and she's getting some deals. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
And I mentioned you being a bit of an influencer here, but you absolutely are. First, I mean, when you already know, because we've had this discussion off air, when I've said, but your last name is Walcott. Are you related to, is it Derek Walcott?
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, and I was blown away. So, I mean, you kind of have that, family tie right there. But besides that, you have been doing, for the past few years in Cayman, definitely some things, working with other brands and helping bring those brands, more to people's eyes, more access.
That's been so fun to see. And I think sometimes people shy away from putting themselves out there, but I think it's just all about how you do it and who you partner with, and being really strategic about stuff and having fun with it, and kind of testing the waters to see. So that's been fun for me as well. And I'm excited to meet a lot of those creators during the conference and talk to them about their experience and where they're headed as well.
I'm excited to hear one of the speakers for sure, David Fearon, I think that's his last name, who's one of the owners of Everything 345.
Yes.
And I'm going to shout out Yannick Powell, who's our employee here at Vasco, because he used to be a partner with Everything 345, but I think in the past year he has some other goals. But Everything 345 has grown tremendously.
Tremendously.
They actually, according to the Tower Consumer Survey, they're allegedly in 2025, they were the third most sourced for news in the Cayman Islands, beating Radio Cayman.
Wow.
Which is very interesting. So that's a big, that's an interesting stat right there. Of course, I don't place all my weight on one survey. There's a bunch of things you have to look at, but that's a great stat for them to have it. So it shows that power of social media, influence, and all the rest. So we got about a minute left.
Yeah. So he's just basically talking about those key challenges in his presentation. I'm really excited to listen.
It's going to be awesome. And this is a Cayman business.
Yeah.
So we're seeing what can be done here from the people who are doing it.
Definitely.
And I think that's super powerful. So we got about a minute left. Let's talk about the tickets, sponsors, any other last details that you want to leave?
Yes, so just in summary, you can find the tickets at www.CIMPA.ky or on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have conference and gala tickets still available. We have a 15% discount for students. And I just wanted to quickly shout out some of our sponsors: Department of Tourism, Department of Comms, DOT, Health City, Vision Marketing, Science of Paradise, Caribbean Creations, Ava-Marie, Armada Films, Compass Media, Radio Cayman.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
I know the time flew by.
Yeah, that flew by.
Thanks for being with us on The Buzz, and I look forward to being on the conference and the gala this week.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And for all our listeners, I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday out there, and I'll be with you on Thursday.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
Shaken.